The old apartment building loomed before Emma. Its weathered brick facade, a stark contrast to the modern cityscape surrounding it. As she stepped inside, the musty scent of aged wood and faded memories enveloped her. The dimly lit hallway stretched before her, shadows dancing on the peeling wallpaper like restless spirits. Emma's footsteps echoed softly as she made her way to her new home. The floorboards creaked beneath her feet, each sound amplified in the eerie silence. She couldn't shake the feeling that unseen eyes were watching her every move. As night fell, Emma settled into her vintage apartment. The soft glow of antique lamps cast long shadows across the room, creating an atmosphere. She tried to focus on unpacking, but her mind kept wandering to the strange energy that seemed to permeate the building. Sleep came fitfully that first night. Emma tossed and turned, her dreams filled with whispers she couldn't quite make out. Just as she drifted off, a sound jolted her awake. Footsteps. Slow, deliberate footsteps in the hallway outside her door. Emma's heart raced as she strained to listen. The footsteps faded, only to be replaced by something else. A faint scratching noise, like fingernails dragging across wood. It seemed to come from within the walls themselves. "It's just the pipes," Emma whispered to herself, trying to calm her frayed nerves. Old buildings make strange noises, that's all it is. But as the days passed, the noises grew more frequent, more insistent. The whispers that had haunted her dreams now seemed to follow her in her waking hours. They were always just on the edge of comprehension, tantalizing and terrifying in equal measure. Emma found herself avoiding the hallway at night, rushing from the elevator to her apartment with her keys clutched tightly in her hand. The darkness seemed to press down on her, a tangible weight that threatened to suffocate her. "I'm just being paranoid," she told herself. "There's nothing to be afraid of." But even as she spoke the words, Emma knew they were a lie. Something was wrong in this building. Something was calling to her. One night, as the clock struck midnight, Emma found herself drawn to her apartment door. Her hand trembled as she reached for the knob. Every instinct screamed at her to stay inside, to lock the door and hide under the covers. But curiosity, that dangerous companion of fear, propelled her forward. The hallway stretched before her, darker than she had ever seen it. The feeble light from the emergency exit sign at the far end only served to emphasize the oppressive gloom. Emma took a hesitant step forward, then another. As she moved down the corridor, the whispers grew louder. They seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once, a cacophony of voices that blended into a single, urgent message. "Join us." Emma's breath came in short, sharp gasps, as she approached the end of the hallway. There, shrouded in shadow, stood a door she had never noticed before. It was old, far older than the rest of the building, its wood dark and scarred with age. Something about that door called to Emma. It beckoned her, promising answers to questions she hadn't even known to ask. With trembling fingers, she reached out and grasped the tarnished brass knob. The door swung open with a groan that seemed to echo through the very foundations of the building. Emma peered into the darkness beyond, her eyes straining to make out shapes in the gloom. It appeared to be an abandoned storage room, filled with forgotten relics of the past. Emma took a tentative step inside, drawn by an irresistible force. The moment she crossed the threshold, the door slammed shut behind her with a finality that sent chills down her spine. She grasped at the knob, but it refused to turn. Panic rising in her throat, Emma turned back to face the room. Her eyes, now adjusting to the darkness, fell upon an antique mirror hanging on the far wall. Its surface was clouded with age, but as she watched, a shadow seemed to flicker across its depths. Emma froze. The temperature in the room plummeted, and she could see her breath misting in the air before her. Slowly, with a dread that threatened to overwhelm her, she became aware of a presence behind her. A cold hand brushed against the nape of her neck, its touch as light as a spider's web but unmistakably real. Emma wanted to scream, to run, to fight, but her body refused to obey. She stood, paralyzed, as the whispers that had haunted her for days now surrounded her in a deafening chorus. "Join us," they urged. "Become one with the darkness. Let go of your fear and embrace eternity." Emma felt herself being drawn deeper into the room, away from the door, and any hope of escape. The shadows seemed to come alive, reaching out with inky tendrils to envelop her. She tried to resist, to cling to the light and warmth of the world she knew, but the pull was too strong. As the darkness closed in around her, Emma caught one last glimpse of her reflection in the mirror. Her eyes, wide with terror, seemed to plead for help that would never come. Then, like a candle being snuffed out, the last glimmer of light faded away. The whispers grew softer now, almost gentle. They welcomed Emma into their embrace, promising an end to fear, an end to loneliness. As her consciousness began to slip away, Emma realized that she no longer wanted to fight. It felt like home. In the hallway outside, the old door creaked shut, its surface unmarred by any sign of disturbance. The building settled into silence once more, waiting patiently for the next curious soul to be drawn into its depths. And somewhere in the shadows, a new voice joined the whispers, calling out to those who would listen, calling them home.